So before I launch into this feedback session, I just wanted to give you my dramaturgical disclaimer. What you're about to hear are a lot of opinions. And there are a lot of opinions out there in the world. You can just walk down the street and ask anybody for their opinion. They'll be happy to give it to you. I'd like to think that my opinion is reasonably well informed and that it is, of course, intended to be constructive as opposed to destructive. Uh, but it is still just an opinion. And you are entitled to take it or leave it. So all I ask is that you listen to what I have to say, listen to my opinions, my thoughts, my ideas, my questions, and then assess them, give them some due consideration, and make up your own mind whether they're useful to you or not. If they're useful, please by all means use them. If they're not, discard them. But that's all I ask of you. It's your show. You get to write the show you want to write. What I'm hoping is that my questions, my concerns, my confusions will make you dig a little bit deeper and think about whether you have made the strongest choices you can to make sure that the journey of your lead character, the themes of your show, and the drama and the conflict of your piece has been presented in the most compelling and dramatic way possible. That's what all of this is for. Now, with that in mind, I have three sort of rules of thumb that I'd like you to keep in mind when you're listening to feedback. One of them is, if you disagree, don't defend. What that simply means is, if I make a statement or state an opinion and you disagree with it, you are entitled to disagree with it. You do not need to defend yourself to me. As I said a moment ago, it's your show. You do not owe me anything. I'm simply stating my opinions to try and help you think more deeply. So that's all you need to do with it. If you disagree, you do not need to defend yourself to me. In slightly the same arena, if I misunderstand, don't explain. So if I say something that makes you realize, oh, she didn't realize that that was because his mother died in the first act, or oh, she misread that part, or she must have missed the scene. If you believe that that there's a misunderstanding that has caused me to say something, don't feel like you need to explain to me what I misunderstood. The purpose of my feedback is to let you know that I, as an audience member, misunderstood that moment. That's all the information you need. You don't, as a playwright, get the opportunity to walk out on stage when your audience is misunderstanding something and say to them, I want to make sure you understand that this is happening because his mother beat him when he was 3. You don't get that opportunity, so there's no reason to use that opportunity with me. What you need to do is think, okay, she misunderstood that, even though it was completely clear because, it was said in the previous scene, so I don't know why she misunderstood. It's up to you then to decide, okay, she misunderstood because she must have just missed it, and if it were in production, that wouldn't have happened, so we don't have to do anything to change this moment. It will be clear. That's valid if you've really thought it through and you believe that to be true. That's perfectly valid. If, on the other hand, when you're thinking about it, you think, well, maybe that wasn't quite as clear as it could have been, and if we go back a few scenes or earlier in Act 1, there's something we could do to make sure that an audience member wouldn't have the same misunderstanding that Elise did in this moment. And that's what I would like you to do, is look at it, figure out, why did I misunderstand it? Is there something you could do to remove that misunderstanding? If there is, do it. If there isn't, don't worry about it. But don't feel like you need to explain yourself to me, because I'm only acting as your audience, and you won't get that chance with your audience. And the last one is, if you agree, don't rewrite yet. And I know that sounds a little bit odd, but what I mean by that is, there are likely, hopefully, going to be some things that I say along the way that you go, oh, yes, that's right. Oh, I should have thought of that. It would be perfect if that happened. And immediately the wheels will start to turn in your head, and you'll think, I could change this. I could move this song. I could have him do this here, or I could have her do this instead of him. And ideas will start to come to you about how to make the changes that my thoughts have inspired. Now, that's great if something that I've said makes a light bulb go off in your head and makes you think, oh yeah, I want to make that change. But what I'm asking you is, don't start rewriting it while you're listening to me talk about it. Make a note and go, oh, great, no, great, and write it down and say, I want to look into that. And wait until you've gotten all the feedback and you've made all your notes about the things that you disagree with, about the things that I must have just misunderstood, and the things that I was really brilliant about and you really want to make a change. Wait till you've got all that information, and then go one step further. Wait a little longer. Let it percolate a little bit longer, because the things that you might have at first at first hearing, you might have said, no, no, we don't need to change that. That doesn't make it, she's wrong on that. In a day or two or a week, you might wake up and go, oh, wait a minute, I know why she thought that, and I know exactly how to fix it. So you might find that something you were initially dismissive of might percolate to the surface later, and you might realize that it's very useful. But it's just as possible that something that you immediately thought, oh my God, that's right, I have to rewrite that. In a few days or a week, you might think, oh, no, wait a minute, I don't really want to rewrite that because that would change everything about this ending, or that would mean we couldn't have that other scene, or then that song wouldn't work anymore, or it just causes more problems than it solves. So something that seemed like a great idea to rewrite in the moment that you were hearing it, on reflection, might not be so. So whichever way it goes, whether you are disagreeing or agreeing, what I ask is listen to it all, make notes, and then give it time to percolate, and then come back, and then you and your team get to make the decisions about what you're going to act on, what you're not going to act on, and why. Completely yours, because it's your show, and that's all I ask of you. Listen, consider, make your own decisions. And I hope that you are going to find some things that are useful and that make you dig a little bit deeper about your show. All right? So here we go.